I also want to go over briefly about the difference between a budget and a spending plan. Sometimes these two get used meaning something different, and sometimes they get mixed up. So, my goal here is to help you better understand what an individual budget is and what a spending plan is so you know the difference. Your individual budget is something that Regional Center will create with you. It is the total amount of dollars Regional Center has decided that you can use in self-determination. Regional Center makes sure that the money they've set aside for you would have been used in traditional services. By doing that, they are certifying your individual budget. So that means your individual budget is how much money you can use in self-determination, and Regional Center will certify this by signing off saying, yes, this budget is what we would have spent in traditional. Spending plan is essentially lining out how you plan on spending your budget. So when Regional Center gives you your dollar amount, you then create a spending plan. And that spending plan is what allows you to use services in self-determination. Now, I want to say a quick disclaimer. You may be feeling kind of overwhelmed about this whole budget process, but I want to reassure you that you're not alone. And oftentimes, your Regional Center may be struggling with this process too. So as long as you're open and willing to discuss with your Regional Center things that are confusing or work through disagreements or negotiate maybe a middle ground, you will feel much better about this budget process. So this is really just to kind of give you a better sense of the process itself, but we don't expect you to be an expert. I want to give you a quick overview of the process itself. So the Regional Center will certify that budget, like we just talked about. And in order to do this, they're going to start with how much money they spent on your services over the past 12 months. Once they have that dollar amount, you're going to decide whether or not you used all of the money that was set aside for you. If you didn't use all of the money, you can have a discussion to see if Regional Center will put some of the money you didn't use back into your budget. Once you've done that, you're going to kind of review if you have any unmet needs or changes in circumstance that may require additional services. When you do that, you are essentially using traditional services in order to help build up your budget to support those new needs. Once you've done that, your Regional Center will certify it, you get to approve it, and once everything looks good, you move on. But I'm going to break down the process so you better understand it. So where do you start? When you get ready to create your budget with the Regional Center, you start with an expenditure report. The expenditure report is what Regional Center creates. And in that document, it shows how many services or units that the Regional Center approved. And based on those units, they also assign a dollar amount. You take a look at the dollar amount that they gave you for 12 months of your services, and you compare it to how much of that service you actually used. If you've used all of it, then how much you used will match what was authorized. If you didn't use all of it, then you get to have a discussion with the Regional Center to decide if putting those dollars back into your budget sounds like a good plan for you. But the expenditure report is what helps you get started.